I'm a member of the Tory party. I think religion is mostly damaging. I think it can be evil.
You don't think man-made Western law is the same?
It can do, and you can do that. You can say that. I mean, just look at how gay people are treated in Muslim countries.
Why superimpose Western ideals on non-Western nations?
But gay people exist in all countries. I mean, it's
murder exists. Murderers exist in all societies. Rapists exist in all societies. What's your point?
But okay, so how compare? What are your thoughts on homosexuality then?
The same thoughts about Islam. Exactly same thoughts. That the homosexual sex is illegal. I follow that.
But why do you think that? Why should that be the case if two consenting adults agree to that? What does it have?
Are you okay with incest as well?
No.
If they're two consenting adults?
Well, I mean, I suppose it happens, but
would you say it's morally okay, morally acceptable for a brother and a sister?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Why?
No, I wouldn't say, because they're closely related, and we know the scientific
the damage that they cause. What if the youth protection?
But we still know that it's just not. It doesn't. We morally and socially agree that that's wrong. We've accepted that as wrong.
What basis? On what basis? Why? Why is it? My point is this: why is it okay?
Yeah, we recognise. Do you want me to answer the question?
Please go ahead.
We recognise that there are those different relationships. Anybody who does is in a very, very small minority.
So now you're restricting your minorities.
Well, I think that when it's in that case, we are to a certain extent, I guess. But that's a very, very small minority.
Doesn't matter. Gay people used to be a very small minority until it was popularised.
Gay people have always existed, but they've just never been...
Somebody could say the exact same thing about incest. Somebody could say the exact same... Okay, this is my question to you. You're saying that two consenting same-gender adults is perfectly fine for them to have an intimate relationship. I'm saying if that's superimposed or applied to a brother and a sister... using protection, no offspring, what's the problem from a moral point of view? You're full of contradictions.
Why can a man and a woman then?
From my point of view? From my point of view? Because God said so.
But what about if you don't believe in God?
Well, then you tell me. That's why I'm asking you. Because you're an atheist.
Who is your God? Allah?
Okay, look, I've asked you a question. You can't answer the question, so now you're going on a different topic. Whether or not, this is my point, whether or not you believe God exists is irrelevant to whether somebody else believes that he does exist. Now my question, I've answered your question. I said, I believe it's okay for a man and a woman to have a relationship in marriage because God said so. Why do you believe it's okay for man and woman, or man and man, or woman and woman, but not brother and sister?
Because I believe it's wrong.
Okay, are you an objective moral source?
No, but...
Okay, so you're subjective. So basically, your opinion is irrelevant.
Well, no, because we collectively decide, don't we, and how we operate.
Do you say? Would you say it's subjective?
Well, I mean, the whole point of an MP is to look.
Let me make it easy for you. Let me make it easy for you. It's not objective because I disagree. Now, what's your point? If everything's subjective anyway, what's the point of following anything?
Because I think we agree collectively as a society that the only way to operate and to actually be civilised is by using the systems and institutions that we have.
Okay, so this is my point. The systems and institutions that are set in place, why have they said it's okay for homosexual sex, but not brother and sister? I'm not talking about...
Because the majority agree with that precedent. But you said it's God. But I don't believe in God.
That's
you
fine.
Do.
I don't believe in democratic law.
We collectively...
I don't believe in democratic law.
But we live under that system, so you are forced to...
Right, so then what's your problem with Saudi Arabia when they make homosexuals illegal?
Because the majority... Because there's no democracy.
They live in Saudi Arabia. What's your problem with that?
There's no democracy in Saudi Arabia.
I agree with that. I don't believe in democracy. And Islam doesn't believe in democracy.
That's about how gay people are treated in Middle Eastern countries. It's because there is no debate. And also,
why should there be debate?
We recognise there is no direct democracy.
Why should there be democracy in the Middle East? Why assume that?
Because I think that should be the right. I think that's the right. I believe that's the right system to ensure a fair and equal society.
You think that 2 billion Muslims in the Middle East do not?
But how do you know if they think that if there's no democracy?
Have they called for it? Have they championed for it? In
There's
fact,
a lot of
in
people-
fact,
a lot of
in
women-
fact,
a
it
lot
was,
of women- a
in
lot of
fact,
women
it was
in Saudi
imposed.
Arabia recorded
In
it.
fact, it was imposed on them, and they rejected it. So why are you
A lot of women-
superimposing?
a lot, and again, they are forced to follow the law. Gay people in those countries, as you say, that
Just
you're
like we're forced to follow the law here. Just like we're forced to follow the law here. Yes.
Yeah. But,
Okay.
As I say, you know,
Like for example, incest in the UK.
Yeah.
They must have a really miserable life.
I mean, I suppose there would.
You just made a statement that you believe the majority is capable of coming up with certain moral constructs in society. I said to you that the majority of people in Nazi Germany, as far as we are aware, yes, there was the ruling party, but the citizens as well, they took part in the Holocaust. Is that morally acceptable? Of course not. But the majority decided it.
No, it's not morally acceptable.
But the
I know,
majority,
but
but the majority decided it.
But that's how we work.
So you accept that.
I mean, initially, yes, but it.
So you accept that if the majority of Muslims in the Muslim world don't accept homosexuality, it should be banned.
Well, yeah, if the majority of them didn't agree.
Okay, brilliant, fantastic. So if later on in the future in the UK the majority of people decide that incest sex is perfectly fine, you're okay with that?
Well, no, I'd be completely against it.
But you would have no problem abiding by that law.
Well, I wouldn't get involved with it, but I'd have no choice in the same way that you.
But if you're one of your family members did that, you'd be completely fine with it.
I mean, no.
So that's a contradiction then. So the majority should not be able to decide what the law is. That's my point.
No, but
why would you not accept it? By the way, if the majority decided that, why would you not accept it?
Because I don't think that's right.
That's very undemocratic.
I don't think that's right.
That's very undemocratic, according to your standards.
It's not undemocratic.
It is?
Hang on, you've not listened to a word that I've said.
I've listened to a lot. We've been chatting for 40 minutes. All human beings will have a certain affinity, certain desires towards many different things. Some of those things may be morally good, some of those things may be morally bad. And the one who decides that according to Islam is God. Yeah. So for example, men or heterosexual men, they have a certain desire towards women. That doesn't mean that they can rape. That doesn't mean that they can have sex outside of marriage. That doesn't mean that they can have incestual intercourse. Yeah, there's a certain way that God has allowed that man to fulfill that certain desire. Yeah, just because a certain desire may exist in the man doesn't mean that he has to act upon it. Yeah, this is what we call instinctual behavior. We find this within the animal kingdom, where they act upon instinct.
So the question is why? Just because obviously you're going to say because God says so. But obviously God doesn't exist. So for me, that's why we look at it from a more logical and scientific and factual basis. Is that
homosexual sex is completely against science on all levels. Let me explain. I assume you believe in human evolution. The way that evolution works is that you require offspring in order for those genes to be passed down. Now, I know you might talk about surrogacy, etc., but that defeats the whole point of evolution, number one. Number two, from a biological point of view, and I don't mean to be crude here, the anus is an exit hole. Yeah, the muscle, the organ itself, the sphincter muscle of the anus is used to push out crap. It's not an entry hole. It's an exit hole. So everything is telling you from a biological point of view, from an evolutionary point of view, which, by the way, I don't believe in evolution myself. I'm just taking your own standards. From a scientific point of view, it's anti-science.
Documented in over 1,500 species of animals.
And this is what makes human beings superior to an animal, right? We don't copy animals, do we? Do you take your moral standards from an animal?
I think I'd rather take moral standards from animals than I would from a fake god that is hateful and an Islam religion. But that's my choice, and obviously that's not yours. But I would rather do that than what you follow.
I think this is where we I think respectfully, this is where we may agree to disagree in terms of I'll take my morals and values from a god, which according to you doesn't exist, and you'll take your morals and values from animals.
Yeah.